The how-to instructions they sent drove me nuts. And to drink eggnog by the gallon. Lord, what have they done to me? My worst Noel experience happened in 1963. At the time, my wife and I were living in San Mateo, California, with 5 of our offspring. Their ages ranged from 3 months to 7 years. Our 6th and final family edition arrived about a year and a half later. I may add, I found it easier to help put them together than their jolly playthings. On that fateful eve, I put up our real live tree in the rec room. Now that word started with a silent W. I noticed it was lopsided. And I thought, who cares if it doesn't stand up perfectly straight? By the time my wife gets done decorating it with 500 pounds of tinsel and 500 religious ornaments, no one will care. So, while leaving her to this simple task, I went into the living room and put up our fake aluminum tree. Why 2 trees, you may ask? Because in our home, this is tradition. You see, we put the good stuff under the real tree, and the socks and underwear under the Well, after the resident toddlers finally said, nighty-night, I formed a search party, looking for all the things that Mr. Ho-Ho-Ho had hidden from their view. Under the beds, in the closets, the garage, out in the tool shed. Well, among the big-ticket items we located were a fancy tricycle with a handlebar ding-a-ling bell, a big plastic picnic table that could seat 6, a super stroller. It came with a surrey and a fringe on top. A dollhouse made in Germany with a 2-car garage. And as a bonus, they threw in a crybaby doll that could say, Mama, and pee at the same time. But the best thing that the bearded one had dropped off was a giant cardboard replica of a San Francisco cable car. It was roomy enough for our whole gang to gun around at the same time. Now, I have to admit, those elves have a sense of humor. They insisted that the only tools that I would need to bring these monsters to life by morning were a screwdriver and a chainsaw. They never mentioned the 2 most essential ones I always needed: a hammer and a bar of soap to wash out my mouth. You should hear the invective I heap upon those little guys on these occasions. Well, I start off working on the cable car. Issues arose instantly. I could not locate tab A. Tab B was bent, but in the wrong direction. I inserted tab C, where only tab D should be. And so on. What should have taken 15 minutes consumed over an hour, and all of my patience. So next, I tackled the tricycle. It came with 3 wheels, as advertised, but 2 of them would not stay on. I discovered that the elves failed to admit or to include some of the vital parts, in that little plastic bag. Apparently they decided that those pal nuts were no pals of mine. I knew I would have trouble with the stroller. It had 4 wheels. Put the front ones on first, the elves insisted. That seemed silly to me. Anyone could see it should make no difference. Until 5 steps later, when the whole project came to a grinding halt. And have you ever noticed it takes longer to undo everything than it does to get that far to begin with? The crybaby doll challenged my manhood. She refused to expose her battery opening. That's where the hammer came into play. I was angry now, so I tossed her into the stroller, tore open the box, and dumped the entire contents of the picnic table on the floor. The elves directed me to insert this leg into this socket, and I did as directed, and broke both parts in the process. My profanity level went up a notch. I took another swig of soapy water and sloshed on. Finally, like the last bead on the rosary, only the dollhouse remained. Nothing fit. I gave up, completely frustrated. Wife appears, meek and mild, reads the helpful hints, puts the bloody thing together with a spoon. Smart cookie, my wife. She knows her Phillips head from a flat blade, but insufferable at 2 in the morning. We finally trudged off to bed to catch a few winks. We were awakened by a great noise. Had Santa crash-landed? No. Our beautifully decorated real tree had taken a swan dive, causing considerable collateral damage to everything in its flight path. I managed to put this thing back up on its feet, and I heard it whisper, "Why am I here holding up all these fallen angels?" I don't know why, but Santa continues to ply his trade. Wouldn't you think by now he'd retire, move to Phoenix, learn to sleep in late, just mail out some greeting cards, better yet, send me a tweet? But no, here I am a half a century later, still trying to decipher the elves' hieroglyphics, now on behalf of my 5 great-grandchildren. So if you'll excuse me now, I must get started. Bang, bang, oops! Has anybody seen my hammer?
You guys see why I kind of wish I was related to Joe? Right? I know! Thank you so much.